After months of debate and unanimous support, Binghamton Mayor Jared Kraham rejected the proposal to adopt the good cause eviction law in the city. 12 News' Daniel Curran heard from a local housing agency on this decision and learned how City Council plans to respond.
What this is going to end up doing is it's going to be harder for landlords to evict, tenants.
Binghamton Mayor Jared Kraham vetoed the City Council's vote to add good cause eviction as law in the city of Binghamton. The law, which City Council passed unanimously in February, would prohibit landlords from evicting tenants in retaliatory practices due to disputes and allowing tenants the right to renew a lease at a reasonable price. In a letter sent to City Council expressing his veto, Mayor Kraham said in part, quote, "Good cause eviction in this proposed form will hurt the city of Binghamton. Its adoption would have a negative impact on our housing market and the families we all in good faith want to help." Mark Silvanik, with Greater Opportunities for Broome and Shenango, also voiced his concerns with the law. He believes good cause eviction will put hurtful burdens on landlords while failing to protect residents.
It makes sense that landlords would upgrade their screening processes. They're going to try to rent to the least tenant they deem as trouble right up front.
In a statement provided to 12 News on Monday, Councilwoman Rebecca Rathmel said in part, quote, "Rather than listen to the dozens of tenants who expressed their support of the enhanced protections good cause will afford them and their families, Kraham again chose to defer to members of the real estate industry whose primary complaint has been the law's perceived impact on their profit potential." City Council can override the mayor's veto with 5 votes in favor at Wednesday's City Council meeting. Daniel Curran, 12 News, Broome County.